In this video, we're going to take a look at the script within a COS project. So to get there, we go to the left side of the page and select script. And this will bring us to a script overview of the entirety of the script. In this particular case, it's a 7-question script. On this page, you have a few different functions that you can use. You can print the script out. You can email the script directly off of COS to a recipient. You can download the script in a PNG format. And then these two buttons right here, what these allow you to do, they allow you to export and import COS scripts. So, for instance, let's say you've been running a project and you want to start a new project and you forgot to use the copy function, which would allow you to copy the script over directly. If that's the case, then you can download this script using the export button, and that'll download the script in JSON format directly to your device, and then you could then upload that JSON script into any other COS script editor. So it's just basically one extra step in terms of copying over the scripting from one project to another. So in order to edit a script, there's an edit button right here at the top of the page, which will start you at the very beginning. You can also jump directly to specific questions and edits, directly on question 4. You can jump straight there because each question has an edit button that lets you navigate there. So we'll start at the beginning. So in the script editor, this is the opening. Up here at the top, you have a little navigational tool that will allow you to jump directly to any question at any given time. So at the top of the screen here, it'll display the number of questions that are in the script. And since this is the opening, the script opening is where all verbiage that is going to be read by the agent or volunteer, that's where all that verbiage is going to be input. So what we see here is what is displayed on the volunteer screen. These two column headers that are in brackets and highlighted in blue, these are what's known as variable data drop-ins. So it's first name and last name. And one of the features of the script editor is it allows you to pull information directly from the data that was loaded into COS and utilize that information to customize and personalize a script. So when it says, "Hi, may I speak to first name, last name," what the agent or volunteer will see on their screen is, "Hi, may I speak to Joe Smith?" Then the next call it'll be, "Hi, may I speak to Nancy Johnson?" So on and so forth. Below the script opening, we have a function called agent screen headers. What this allows you to do is, again, just like with the variable drop-in data for first name, last name, this allows you to put in hard-coded information or variable data information. It allows you to display that information at the very top of each page in the script whenever a volunteer or agent is reading the script. So for instance, at the top of their screen, you can permanently have the voter's name and polling location or phone number or address or whatever information that needs to be displayed. It will be permanently displayed there at the top of the screen as a quick reference to the agent and volunteer that they can quickly glance and access that information. And then finally, agent substitutions. This is specific to if you are leaving live voicemails, or if you have a bilingual script. What the function allows you to do, agent substitutions, is it allows you to input a secondary script that when it's displayed to the agent and volunteer, they can click a button and that secondary script will be displayed as opposed to the primary script. So the primary script in this example might be, a live call script, and we're saying, "Hi, may I speak to so-and-so? Hi, my name is so-and-so, and I'm calling from the Richmond Grand Campaign." But if we get a voicemail, if we get an answering machine and are leaving a voicemail, they can click a button that's labeled voicemail script, and it'll say, "Hi, my name is so-and-so, and I'm calling from the Richmond Grand Campaign, and hope we can count on your support during this upcoming election," so on and so forth. So once we have all that information input, we would click Save and Next. And this will bring us to our question script editor. So for each question, each page looks exactly the same in terms of functionality for each question. So we've got a few different features here that we'll quickly look at. Right off the bat, up here at the top of the page, we have a van import button. So if you're utilizing the van data services, you can directly import questions from van into COS. And then once you're done dialing, you can then export all of those data results back into van. Below that, we have a show question if function. This is essentially just conditional logic that's applied to a specific question. So for instance, if we were to add this, we might say, show this question if in the database, if the voter file van ID equals 1, then that question only gets displayed to voters whose van ID is equal to the number 1. So that's how the show question if function works. The question random group function, this allows you to randomize questions, the order in which the questions are read. With this particular function, what you would do is you would add a group, and once you've added a group, the first group is obviously going to be group 1. So any questions who are labeled as random group 1, only those questions would be randomized. Everything else would be read in linear order. And you can have multiple randomized question groups. Below that is the actual question field. So this is the field that will contain and then display the verbiage that is going to be read by the agent and or volunteer. So will you vote yes in support of this project? Below this, we start getting into some of the response features. So randomized responses, just like the randomized question groups, randomized responses allows you to randomize each response, as it's displayed and read off of COS. Randomized pinning, what that allows you to do is it allows you to lock certain responses so that they are not randomized. So for instance, let's say we've got a list of 4 candidates that we want to randomize, but there are other responses such as not voting, already voted, a refusal, things of that nature. Those responses don't really need to be randomized. All we're really interested in is randomizing the candidate names. So the randomized pinning will lock in those non-candidate responses so that they are not randomized. COS does allow you to select multiple responses. So if you're asking, a voter, what do you think are the top 3 most important issues, and then you have them listed out, your volunteers or agents can select multiple responses in that scenario. And then down here, we will take a look at the responses themselves. So you can add as many responses as you need, and then you can delete them over here on the right side of the screen. And this is the field in which you would type out what each response is. And then under the options field, you've got different things that you can apply to each individual response. So the first option we've got is activist code. This is specific to VAN. So let's say you didn't import the script, but you do have you are still going to export the data back into VAN. You can apply the activist code, the VAN activist code, to specific responses, so that those get linked directly to the data capture within the VAN system. Response follow-up allows you to add verbiage that is given after the voter has responded to the question, but it's verbiage that needs to be read before moving on to the next question. So, for instance, will you vote yes in support of this project? The response follow-up for needs more information is, please visit our website, at soandso.com, where you can find more information about the resort. After that, we've got transfer. So transfer, this is specific to projects like patch projects, in which you are transferring your phone call over to, say, like a senator or representative's office. Transfer is where you would input the actual transfer number. So the number the destination number that you want the call to ultimately end up at for the office of, Senator so-and-so. You would input that 10-digit number in the transferred field. And then finally, send SMS. This allows you to send a text message off of COS directly to the person you're talking to on a live call project. So, for instance, you might say, that's great, thank you for your support. Do you know where your polling location is? And if the person responds, no, I don't, the agent or volunteer might then say, well, that's okay. I'd be happy to text you that information right now. Can I go ahead and send you a text? And then they would be able to send that text message with the polling information directly to the caller. After that, let's see here. So on the right side of the screen, we've got all these fields that are labeled go to. This is the skip logic. So this is where you determine the navigation of the script as it's being read by the agent or volunteer. So for instance, on this question 1, if anybody says yes, they are going to support this project, instead of going to question 2, we can make it so that they go directly to question 3. So the skip logic just allows you to determine the next destination in the script based on the call recipient's response. So you can navigate it to go to any question or just straight to the closing. Finally, down here, this is where you would add, additional responses. You can also add freeform responses into a script. So a free-form response is any response that is basically not a canned response or a preset response. So, for instance, a agent or volunteer might ask, what's the most important issue to you in this upcoming election? And then we'll read off a list of options, but maybe, the most important issue to that particular voter isn't listed in the script. So a free-form response would allow an agent or volunteer to manually capture or type out whatever the voter says is, their most important issue. Then finally down here, you are able to insert questions directly into a COS project, and you can delete questions down here as well. And so, once all this information is input, you would then just click Save and Next to move on to the next question. But I'm going to jump directly down to the closing. And on this page, this is just where the verbiage for your closing is housed. So, thank you for your time. Have a great day. Just general closing to end the call. One thing to note about closings is you've got your main closing, but you can also save it as an alternate closings, so you can have two separate closings within a COS script, and you can set your skip logic accordingly in regards to those different closings. And so once once all these edits have been made, I'll make a very minor edit. We'll click Save and Review. So once the script is in, you can then, what you will then need to do is you'll need to deploy the script to the dialer. So what this does is it loads the script into the COS dialer so that it is ready to be pulled up whenever a call comes through for the agent or volunteer. One important thing to note about deploying a script to the dialer is that after you started dialing, anytime if you ever make an update to the script or any kind of changes, the script always needs to be then redeployed to the dialer so that the most up-to-date and current version of the script is loaded onto the COS dialer. And then lastly, you can test the script out to make sure the skip logic makes sense, is working properly. By clicking Test Script, it'll bring up a view of the script as it's seen by the agent and or volunteer, and then you can just click around and make sure everything looks good.